You already know what you should eat. Vegetables, less sugar, less processed food. You've known this since you were a kid. So why is your lunch a sandwich, a bag of crisps, and a chocolate bar?
That is uncomfortably specific.
I'm talking about myself, Marcus, but also probably everyone watching this. Welcome to Everyday English Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Marcus, and today we're asking a question that sounds simple but really isn't. Why is it so hard to eat healthy? We all know what's good for us, so why don't we do it?
Because knowing and doing are completely different things. And today we're going to talk about why, the psychology, the habits, the food industry, and yes, some actual practical tips that aren't just eat more broccoli.
If someone tells me to eat more broccoli one more time.
So let's start with something interesting. Studies show that most people, over 90%, say they want to eat healthier, but only about 20% actually do it consistently. That's a massive gap. Why?
This is what researchers call the intention-behavior gap. You intend to do something, but your behavior doesn't follow. And it happens with healthy eating more than almost anything else.
And I think the reason is that eating healthy feels like a project. Like you have to plan, shop, cook, count something. It's exhausting before you even start.
Exactly. And our brains are wired to avoid effort. It's not laziness, it's literally how we evolved. The brain always looks for the path of least resistance.
So when you're tired at the end of the day and you have to choose between cooking a proper meal and ordering a pizza, your brain says pizza before you've even consciously decided.
Right, because the pizza requires almost no effort. The decision is already made for you. You just click a button.
And food companies know this. They spend billions designing food that requires zero effort to eat and maximum pleasure. It's not a fair fight.
That's actually a really important point. A lot of people blame themselves for not eating well, but the environment is designed to make healthy eating harder and unhealthy eating easier.
So before we even talk about willpower, which by the way I think is massively overrated, we need to understand that the system is working against us.
I completely agree. Willpower is a limited resource. You use it all day at work, dealing with people, making decisions, and by the evening, it's basically gone.
And that's exactly when the cravings hit. Not at 9 in the morning when you're fresh and motivated. At 9 in the evening when you're exhausted and the sofa is comfortable and the kitchen feels very far away.
This is known as decision fatigue. The more decisions you make during the day, the worse your decision making becomes by the end. And food decisions are some of the hardest because they're so emotional.
Food is never just food, is it? It's comfort, it's celebration, it's stress relief, it's social.
Exactly. We eat with our emotions as much as with our stomachs.
Okay, Marcus, let's talk about the food industry for a second, because I feel like this doesn't get discussed enough.
It really doesn't. So here's something most people don't realize. Processed food is scientifically engineered to be addictive. There are teams of food scientists whose entire job is to find the perfect combination of sugar, salt, and fat that makes you want to keep eating.
It has an actual name, right?
Yes, it's called the bliss point. The exact ratio of ingredients that maximizes pleasure. And once food scientists find that point, they build the product around it.
So when you can't stop eating crisps, it's not a lack of willpower. The crisps were literally designed to be impossible to stop eating.
Precisely. And then there's the marketing. Healthy sounding words on packaging. Natural, wholesome, balanced. That don't actually mean anything legally. A product can say natural and still be full of sugar and artificial ingredients.
I fall for this all the time. I pick up something that says no added sugar and I feel virtuous. But then I read the label and there's still loads of sugar just from fruit concentrate or something.
This is called health washing. Making unhealthy products seem healthy through clever packaging. And it works incredibly well because we're busy and we don't have time to read every label in the supermarket.
And then there's the placement. In supermarkets, unhealthy food is almost always at eye level, near the checkout, in bright packaging. Healthy food tends to be harder to find, less attractive, and more expensive.
The price point is a huge factor. In many places, a bag of crisps is cheaper than a bag of apples. Fast food is cheaper than cooking from scratch. And for people on tight budgets, the healthy choice is genuinely not accessible.
This is something I feel strongly about. We talk a lot about individual choices. Just choose better. But we don't talk enough about the structural barriers. Not everyone has access to fresh food, time to cook, or money for healthier options.
And even when you do have access, habits are incredibly hard to break, especially food habits because eating is so tied to routine and emotion.
Okay, let's talk about habits specifically, because I think understanding how habits work actually helps you change them.
Absolutely. So habits work in a loop. There's a cue, a routine, and a reward. For example, you feel stressed, cue, you eat chocolate, routine, you feel better temporarily, reward, and the more you repeat this loop, the more automatic it becomes.
Until you're not even choosing to eat the chocolate anymore, you just find yourself doing it.
Exactly. And the problem with food habits is that the reward is immediate, you feel pleasure right now, but the consequences are long-term. Weight, energy, health. And our brains are very bad at caring about the future when there's pleasure available in the present.
I think about this all the time. I know that eating well will make me feel better in a week, but the pizza makes me feel good right now. And right now always wins.
This is called temporal discounting. We value immediate rewards much more than future ones. It's why it's so hard to save money, exercise regularly, eat well, anything that has a delayed payoff.
So how do you actually change a food habit then? If the brain is working against you,
the most effective approach is to change the environment, not the willpower. Instead of fighting your cravings, you redesign your surroundings so the healthy choice becomes the easy choice.
Can you give some examples?
Of course. If you keep fruit on the counter and hide snacks in a hard-to-reach cupboard, you'll eat more fruit. Not because you have more willpower, but because it's there. If you meal prep on Sunday so that healthy food is already made when you're tired on Wednesday, you don't have to decide anything. The decision was already made.
This is so true. I started doing this, just having cut vegetables in the fridge ready to eat, and I eat so many more vegetables now. Not because I love vegetables more, but because they're already there.
Exactly. And another powerful technique is habit stacking, linking a new healthy habit to an existing one. For example, after I make my morning coffee, I will eat one piece of fruit. You attach the new behavior to something you already do automatically.
Oh, I like that. It's not I will eat more fruit, which is too vague. It's after coffee fruit, super specific.
Specificity is key. I will eat healthier is not a plan. I will have a salad for lunch on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a plan.
And it's also okay to start small. I think people fail because they try to change everything at once. Suddenly, no sugar, no processed food, cook every meal, meal prep every Sunday. And by day 3, they're exhausted and back to old habits.
Research actually supports this. Small, sustainable changes outperform big, dramatic ones almost every time. One small change that sticks is worth more than 10 big changes that last a week.
Okay, Marcus, honest question. What's your relationship with food? Because you seem like someone who eats very sensibly.
I do eat quite sensibly now, but it wasn't always like that. In my 20s, I basically survived on ready meals and takeaways. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't think about nutrition at all.
What changed?
I got genuinely ill. Nothing serious, but I was constantly tired. Getting colds every month, not sleeping well. My doctor asked about my diet, and I kind of had to admit that it was terrible. That was the wake-up call.
So it took a health scare.
For me, yes, I started small, just cooking one proper meal a week, then 2, learned a few basics, and gradually it became normal. Now I actually enjoy cooking.
That's really interesting because I think for a lot of people, the motivation has to be personal. It can't just be abstract. Eating well is good for you. It has to be, I want to have more energy, or I want to feel better, or something that actually connects.
What about you? You seem to have a pretty balanced approach.
I mean, I have my moments. I definitely stress eat. If I've had a really hard week, I will absolutely sit down with a whole bar of chocolate and not regret a single piece.
And do you think that's a problem?
No, actually. I've made peace with the idea that I'm not going to eat perfectly all the time. And I think that's actually healthier than trying to be perfect and failing and feeling guilty about it.
The guilt is so destructive, isn't it? You eat something bad, you feel terrible about it, the feeling is uncomfortable, so you eat more to feel better.
Exactly. It becomes a cycle. I think the most important mindset shift is going from I failed to it's fine, next meal I'll make a better choice.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. That phrase actually changed my relationship with food.
Okay, let's give people something they can actually use. Practical tips, not generic ones, real ones.
Yes. Tip 1. Don't start a diet on Monday. Start right now with the next meal. Monday diets never work because they give you the whole weekend to eat everything before the diet starts.
Tip 2, don't try to make healthy food taste like unhealthy food. It won't work and you'll be disappointed. Instead, find healthy foods you genuinely like. There are some, I promise. Not everyone loves salad, but maybe you love roasted vegetables, or fruit smoothies, or a certain kind of soup.
Tip 3, eat before you go food shopping. Shopping when you're hungry is a disaster. Everything looks good and you buy things you never normally buy.
Tip 4, don't keep food you don't want to eat in your house. This sounds obvious, but it's powerful. If the chocolate isn't there, you won't eat it at 11 p.m. You might want to, but the friction of going to the shop stops you.
Tip 5, make peace with good enough. You don't have to eat perfectly. 80% healthy is incredibly effective. The 10% rule: if 90% of what you eat is nutritious, the other 10% genuinely doesn't matter that much.
And tip 6, pay attention to how food makes you feel, not just how it tastes. After a week of eating well, most people notice they have more energy, better sleep, better mood. And that feeling becomes its own motivation. When you notice that you feel genuinely better, it stops being about willpower and becomes about taking care of yourself.
Okay, so to summarize, the reason it's so hard to eat healthy isn't because you lack willpower or discipline. The food environment is designed to work against you. Your brain prefers easy and immediate rewards, and habits are incredibly powerful.
But the good news is small changes work. Changing your environment works. And most importantly, you don't have to be perfect. Progress beats perfection every single time.
And if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: the next meal is always a fresh start. Not Monday, not January, the next meal.
That's genuinely good advice.
Thank you, I have my moments. Okay, everyone, let us know in the comments, what's your biggest challenge with eating healthy? Is it the cravings, the time, the cost? We'd love to know.
And if this episode was useful, please subscribe. New episodes every week. See you next time.
Bye, everyone, and go eat something green. Just one thing. You can do it.